Hey, what's up guys? Nate here with Hustle Buddies, where we share tools, tips, and advice for Amazon sellers. Now in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a topic that we see pop up pretty much every single day in our Facebook group. Now we've been running this group for about 4 years, and I'll usually let about one of these through per week because it's so redundant. But I wanted to make a video talking about these brand/customer communications or complaints or issues that you may run into, when you can ignore them, when you need to take them seriously, and sort of where the communications will come from, okay? What this is not, I'm not going to be talking about how to deal with an actual IP complaint or an actual lawsuit, okay? If those things are happening to you, we have other videos for the IP complaints, and if you're actually getting sued, go talk to a lawyer, okay? Don't go to YouTube to watch a video. A lot of times people will misunderstand something that they receive, and they will think that they are getting an IP complaint, or they will think that they are being sued when that is not at all what's happening. So basically, here in the US, there's something called first sale doctrine, which, for lack of time, I will say it basically just lets you sell whatever you want as long as you own it. And if you bought it, you own it, so you're allowed to sell it, okay? You can sell it as new. Now, there's some people who will say like, oh, but it has to have the warranty and all of that. And the Supreme Court has actually ruled that an equal to the warranty. So like if the warranty says XYZ, if you can do XYZ within this time frame, as long as there is a return or a refund situation that is very lenient, that goes along the same path where it's essentially the same thing, then that will count as the warranty. And since we all sell on Amazon, customers can return and replace anything pretty much at any time very leniently. So just by extension of that, basically all of your customers are getting these warranties. I mean, it's adjacent to that through Amazon, okay? So you are allowed to sell anything you want, and you're allowed to sell it as new, okay? Now, you will need proof that it's actually a legitimate thing, because there's still laws, like you can't sell counterfeit goods. So like if you're buying stuff from eBay or you're buying stuff from Alibaba, like you can't prove that that stuff is new, and you can't prove that that stuff is authentic. Those things are fake, okay? So don't do that, but as long as you can prove everything else, you're good. Now, I made this graphic. I'm going to throw it up here on screen because people will get other forms of communication and other complaints and things like that, and they will think that they are getting one of these IP complaints. They'll think that there's like a law firm or something that's coming after them, when that's not at all the case. Because of this first sale doctrine, pretty much the only thing left that a brand can do to get you off of a listing that they don't want you on is to bully you into thinking that you're not allowed to be on that listing. What are they going to do? Well, they might send you some snail mail. So you see over here on the side, we've got snail mail. They might hire a pseudo law firm like the Voyeurs. I call it a pseudo law firm because it's the most common one. If you Google how to get a seller off my brand on Amazon, Voyeurs is going to be the top result. That's who 99% of these letters are coming from. Do they actually sue you? I think I've heard of like 2 cases where Voyeurs actually went to court. Like it's very much the we're going to bully you off the listing by sending you these nasty letters. So if it's just through your snail mail, like you just get a letter in your mail with a stamp on it and it's from Voyeurs or from wherever, throw that in the trash. Doesn't matter. You don't need to look at that, okay? If it's a snail mail letter from anyone else claiming to be like brand enforcement or the brand itself or anything like that, again, you can probably just throw that in the trash, okay? They're not actually an official lawsuit, things like that. You will have to sign for the letter. They have to prove that you received notice that they are taking you to court. So if you didn't sign for it, you didn't receive it. They can't prove that you received it, and so therefore you didn't receive it, okay? You'll never be sued through this process without having to get a letter that you signed for in the mail, or someone who knocks on your door and says you've been served, okay? All right, if you get an email from a brand, either to your Amazon email or your personal email, anything like that, again, they're trying to scare you off. They're trying to bully you, okay? Then on the other side, they might be using the customer communications portal. And I want to just preface this with the customer communication portal is very specifically for customers. Amazon says this, and they say any use of this, if you are not a customer, if you're a brand, any outside use of this customer communication portal is a breach of our terms of service. So if a brand is trying to communicate with you through the customer communication portal, 100% of the time, that's trash. You see, the customer who says they're the brand, throw it in the trash. It could be your competitor. You don't know. Anyone can send you one of these customer communications things. I could send you, maybe me and you are both on a listing and I want you off. I could pretend like I'm the brand and I could send you this nasty letter through the customer communication portal telling you, oh, you're not allowed to sell this. You don't have our warranty, blah, 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 blah. You need to get off this listing or we're going to do whatever. Okay. So anyone can say anything through that. So just press the report button. Don't answer it. Don't respond. Same thing if a customer says, hi, I have a question about my order. Please open the attachment. And then you open the attachment and it's like this long, it looks like this legal document where it's like, oh, you are selling this. You're not authorized, blah, 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 blah. Please send us all of your sources. Again, ignore that. Don't ever open an attachment. If you are through, I hope that anyone who's been born in the past 30 years has had this ingrained into their head. If you receive communication online from someone that you do not know, and that communication has a attachment, do not open the attachment, okay? There's a good chance that this is a virus, that this is malware, okay? Don't do it. Don't open attachments in your emails. Don't open attachments in your customer communications portal. Just mark that it was phishing. Do not respond, okay? Same thing, if you get a customer complaining like, oh, you're price gouging or this, that, and the other, you don't have to respond to these things. You can just click no response needed and ignore it. Okay, it's not a part of your job to teach people that you're not actually price gouging. Now, the 2 times that you do need to take this seriously are, again, if you sign for it, if it came in a physical letter and you had to sign for it, or a person handed it to you and said you've been served and they can prove that you received that letter, take that seriously, talk to a lawyer. Or through the customer communications portal, if it's a real customer with a real question about something that they bought from you. Okay, if you have that, then answer that. Okay, talk to them. But everything else, it falls outside of that and you can ignore it. Now, I made a post about this on our Facebook group where I'm talking about the different truths. Now, I can't tell you exactly what you should do 100% of the time because, yes, we are allowed to sell pretty much anything that we want as new, but there are some dark sides in that some brands will still fight dirty. Some brands don't care that you're legally allowed to do that. They don't think that you should be able to legally do that. And so they try to kick you off the listing. Okay. So some brands will fight dirty. So I can't tell you exactly like, oh, ignore all of these things, never do anything, never take anything seriously. You're never going to get an IP complaint. That's not what I'm saying because you very may well get some IP complaints after some of these things happen to you. But what you need to do is sort of judge, how likely is this brand to fight dirty and escalate this and try to kick me off? Combined with how much am I able to fight this? So for example, if you are selling, say, like a beauty brand from TJ Maxx and all you have is the receipt from TJ Maxx that says like women's perfume, $5, okay? That is very difficult to fight some of the more serious legal complaints that are going to come at you. If you have a receipt from Ulta and it says the exact, like, okay, here's the name of the perfume, here's the brand, here's the UPC, here's the price I paid, here's my credit card information, all that stuff. If it has all that information, you're much more likely to be able to successfully fight one of these things, okay? So judge how serious do you think they are, judge how well you'll be able to fight it if they fight dirty, and then compare those two things to how much value does this brand bring me. So some examples from our own personal business. I sell the heck out of JanSport. I sell the heck out of Calvin Klein. We sell Victoria's Secret. All of these brands will show up. Like if you use like IP Alert or any of those extensions, all of those brands will show up with a giant red flag IP warning like, oh, these brands might fight dirty. Now, in our experience, Calvin Klein doesn't, and Victoria's Secret doesn't really. JanSport has sent us, I want to say it's about 13 letters at this point in the mail. Every single time they send me a letter, it's like, you are not authorized. You need to tell us where you're buying these from. We will pursue legal action, blah, 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 blah. We will do whatever. Okay, all of that is bullying because they know and we know that if they were to actually take us to court, that I would win. So they're never actually going to sue me because they know that they're not going to win. They are going to keep sending me these letters in the mail to try to bully me off the listings because they don't want me selling their products, but I'm fully within my rights to do so. I'm not breaking any rules. I'm not doing anything illegal by reselling the JanSport products that I have obtained legally through the correct channels. Okay? So I ignore that because JanSport is like a multi-6-figure per year brand for us. So of course, like if I have to, if they do, I mean, heaven forbid, they do actually try to sue me and they're like, okay, we think we can actually win. Okay, well, I'll just hire a lawyer. And because this brand is worth 6 figures to me, I can afford to pay a lawyer to try to deal with this problem for me. And there's different Amazon lawyers. There's Seller Basics is a really popular one. Jeff Schick is the other really popular one. If people want to have like a lawyer on retainer to help you feel more comfortable, check out one of those 2 companies. But yeah, I compare those 3 things. How likely are they to actually do something? And if I had to sort of rank these, I would say like stuff from the customer communication portal. I don't think twice about that. I ignore that. I'm never going to open an attachment. I'm never going to read something from the customer. Those are not really serious. Occasionally, they might escalate something to an IP complaint, but it's rare. Usually, they're not very serious. If I get something through the mail, those are usually a little bit more serious, unless it's from voyeurs. If it's from voyeurs, then I'm assuming this person's just trying to bully me and they're never going to go past it. So voyeurs is at the same level as the customer communication portal. If I get a letter in the mail, or if I get like an email from the brand, they went through a decent amount of work to find my email and to find my personal information. So they may continue to fight dirty. At that point, I would sort of see, okay, is it worth it to me? Is it worth my time to fight this? I am able to fight it. I'm able to beat any sort of IP complaint or anything that they might do it, but is it worth my headache to actually do that? Okay. And that's sort of the comparison that you need to be making. All right. Hopefully that helps, because again, I mean, we see this question a lot. People are always like, oh, I got this question from a customer and it says that they're going to sue me. No, they're not. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that clears this up a little bit. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comment section below. Join the conversation in our Facebook group. So facebook.com/groups/hustlebuddies. I just made this post. I just put this graphic up. And I imagine there's going to be quite the conversation going on. And some people might disagree with this. If you disagree with something that I said, that's totally fine. There's a million ways to make $1 million. I don't know everything. Maybe I got something wrong. So feel free. Let me know in the comments how ridiculous I am or how horrible of advice I'm giving. And that's totally fine. Okay. All right. I hope that helps everybody. I will see you in the next one. Go out there, make a bunch of money, hustle on, everybody.